We were still doing the full time job, and then one of our angel investors just reached out to us saying, hey, this is something we really like, and we would like to invest. That was the time when we both understood that, okay, this is no longer a side project now. Let's go one step ahead. Let's build a product.
Hey friends, welcome back to the संस्कार शो. आज के एपिसोड में आई एम टॉकिंग टू योगिनी, द को फाउंडर ऑफ पीयरलिस्ट. वी टॉक एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम देयर जर्नी, बिल्डिंग देयर स्टार्टअप, रेजिंग फंड्स, इन्वेस्टर्स को कैसे रीच आउट किया, कब किया, क्यों किया. सो इफ you're a startup enthusiast or a college student who wants to launch a startup someday in the future, then this video is literally a cheat code for you. Before we begin, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो, वीडियो को लाइक कर दो, एंड लेट्स रोल द वीडियो इन 3, 2, 1. Let me ask you like kind of a question which must be very often asked to you. LinkedIn versus Peerlist. क्या differences हैं? क्या चीज़ें आपको लगता है you are doing right or you're doing better in a way?
Okay. Um, Honestly, when we Purely started with a problem we faced with LinkedIn, right? So one was because I belong to different backgrounds, and I know that my skills are pretty much based on what I have built. So if you see that, you will get understanding of what I can do. Is this a similar problem with other people? Was the thought process of starting Peerlist. So when we discussed this with a lot of people, we understood that yes, this is a problem many of us face. That I am a different person as my job title, but apart from that, I do a lot of things. So how I can show that very effectively and efficiently on my profile? I know there are links you can add on LinkedIn, but again, it's like it's on the third person whether to go and check those or not, right? So that was the first problem we discussed, that yes, this needs to be solved. Second is, of course, it's credibility. So suppose I want to create a I want to apply for a job. I have to create a lot of content on LinkedIn, just so LinkedIn algorithm will pick me and show me to the recruiters, right? So should I prepare for a new job or should I be a content creator? That becomes a very difficult role to play. So I think the original thought was, let's bring credibility over popularity to a professional network. A professional network should be something where I should be known for my skills. I should be known for the things which I have done and which I am doing. I should have a very verified and credibility over throughout my profile, and that should be the basis of a network rather than adding some random people into your connection. So that is the thought process, and I think that is what Peerlist is doing different from LinkedIn. That yes, we are trying to build a verified, credible professional network for people in tech.
Interesting. And one thing which I feel in this startup ecosystem is that it doesn't matter who arrives first. The thing which matters is who stays there till the end, and
Right.
others are fading away, right? So, what is your vision with Peerlist and what are your major goals?
Okay, so I think what I look at Purelist maybe 5 6 years down the line, that it should be repository, or it should be a way where if you want to know who Yogini is as a professional, if you want to know what I have done in the past, whether it's a verified work or my overall skill set as a professional, Purelist will be your go-to platform to go and check who Yogini is, what she have done. Or Peerlist will be the go-to platform to check for Peerlist as a company, how many people are there, what they use, what they are doing, everything. So we see Peerlist as a network where people will go and check each other and understand about each other, collaborate and work with each other.
Have you ever thought that you might get acquired by LinkedIn?
uh, Acquisition, this thought never really crossed our mind. So honestly, when you start, so Purely started as a side project, right?
Right.
When you are working on a project, you really don't think about building a company. So that is a really different perspectives altogether, I feel. So we are still in a process of building the product, making it more and more better and suitable for many people across. So yeah, that's the goal. Acquisition is something which we really haven't thought about.
Got it. So tell me about the backstory a bit more. Like, how did the idea come to you, and moreover, how you went from idea to execution to raising funding.
Okay. Uh, so as I said earlier that the idea was pretty much, so it was pandemic. Me and Akash are married, so we used to get a lot of time. During that time only, I was looking for a job, and we started brainstorming on this, that what is the best possible way for me to showcase my work. So I have GitHub projects. I'm writing a lot of articles. I'm active on Twitter. I have built some good side projects. How I can collaborate that together and showcase it, because most of the times what used to happen was, so recruiters just see your job title, where you're working in, and might not call you based on your skills, because they might think that this is not a good fit
Hmm.
for the job, right? So we thought that let's solve this. Let's make a good profile for me myself. But then the question was how actually my portfolio or my website will get the visibility, right? It will be just another
Yeah.
link on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is when we thought, okay, if this is a problem I am facing, whether it's a problem anyone else is facing. So we ran a small survey on LinkedIn, on Twitter, that is this an issue which anybody can relate to? And I think we got good response, like 200, 300 people actually replied to that. And even their thoughts resonate with what we were thinking. And that gave us a really good, inspiration or starting point, that yes, let's do this, let's try this out.
Mm.
So that started. Then we thought of, okay, this is a little lonely journey when you are, building something by your own. So why not, if anyway it's a side project, why not share it with people? So that is when we started even building audience and talking to people, reaching out to them. On Twitter, we started posting about Peerlist, that, hey folks, we are doing these things. Would you be interested in joining the wait list or trying up the beta for us? So we started that. We opened that wait list. It was somewhere around April 21. We thought that we will be able to ship the product or the basic beta version within 2 months. Unfortunately, it did not happen. We took 4 months to ship, and somewhere around August, we ship our first closed beta version. We both were still at that time doing our full-time jobs, and that is where we thought that, opening it for public won't be a good idea, because what if many people signed up and our platform is not ready? So you always think very good about your product. So that that was the thought process. Around 600 people sign up in August, and that gave us a good point that yes, this is something which people are liking. And so till that time it was just profiles. We thought that building a network is a very long term process and long term game. So we will just try to solve the profile problem first, build our base on that. If the base is strong, then we can build the network over it and connect the dots. And that is where we started building profiles. It was still in closed beta for, I think, more than 6 to 8 months. We were still doing the full time job, and then one of our angel investors just reached out to us saying, hey, this is something we really like, and we would like to invest. That was the time when we both understood that okay, this is no longer a side project now, right? Let's build a product. Let's go one step ahead. Let's build a product. This is something really interesting. That thing gave us a good conviction that yes, the users feedback are right. There are investors, which is a small, those small angel investment, but still it gives you the conviction, along with the users you have. So that is when we both decided to, give up our full-time job, build this full-time. And then we started building it, building the audience, bringing more users in. And I think by then till now, it's been a really interesting journey for us, because we started shipping every feature, and I think that resonated with a lot of people, and now we are at where we are. So yeah.
Also, what I feel is that your story is very encouraging for people who have their own side projects. Because I
Mm-hmm.
remember around 5, 6 months back, you had your product and launch. At that
Yes.
time, I was working with Aviel. So we were discussing about the things you did right at your launch, and we could, sort of implement those things in our launch as well. So I feel that you raising funding, getting where you are, is a very big encouragement for people who have their own side projects as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we never thought that just a thought of side project will, will do something. We always wanted to do something. We had given it a try, or many tries even long back. But there is something which you have to be very much passionate about, and a problem which is very close to your heart. So I think we found that, and we were fortunate enough to be at a right time, right place with right people. So yeah.
We recently raised $1.1 million in seed funding.
Yeah.
So, what does that mean to you as a company?
uh it it gives you both, it gives you a freedom to finally do things which you had in your mind, because money is no more a barrier for you. It also adds a lot of responsibility towards that. Now you have to ship, now you have to make it right. Now you cannot give excuses that अरे हमारे पास नहीं थे funds, we couldn't do it. So
Mhm.
that is no
Right.
more an excuse now. Now it's like heads down, building, shipping, and making it. So I think it has given us a freedom to try even more, to experiment more, or to do things, or to execute our plans which was there. But it also have added a lot of responsibility towards everything, towards the users, towards the investors, that now we have to be very true to all of them, and bring the value out of it. So it is both ways working for us.
Right. And also tell me like how fundraising works for a tech product like yours. I mean, the process of raising the funds.
Okay, so I think process of raising funds could be very different for different use cases. What I have really understood is, I think being a first time founder, the raising is pretty different for you if you haven't done
Okay.
any startup before. So we had many calls with so many different people. We found really good mentors in the journey. But yeah, I think your conviction towards your product, your understanding of the domain, and how you have executed till now, and your plans of execution is what really matters ultimately to crack that thing. But still, I would say that it's very different for very different people, and with different use cases. Even we have so many experiences that I think do not match with each other. But overall, going
Right.
through a fundraise is a really good process for you as a founder as well. Why? Because it makes you think on so many aspects of the product that you haven't really thought of before, or it makes you give answers or find answers to the hard questions. So overall, it's a good process to be in.
Right. And also, see, Peerlist is not the first product doing this thing. There
Mhm.
were others and there will be others. So
Absolutely.
how what do you feel that you have done right or you have done differently which has helped you reach where you are so quickly?
See, I don't think it's a quick journey, right, for anybody. Like, if someone is
Right, yeah.
taking 6 months, there are
Right.
efforts which are not visible in those 6 months. So quick is
Hmm.
not really a process, but always being true to our work is something that we have done it. Though it sound very cringe, or it's not, it's
Right.
very obvious. But yeah, I think we have really tried our best to ship things, and to ship it in a better shape. So till December, we have been team of 3 people. Now we are even team of 5 people. So making things lean, being very honest with what we ship, talking to users very closely, being a part of that community helped us a lot, because I think our first 500 users are the people who deserves the credit for Peerlist being what Peerlist is at the moment as a product, because their feedbacks, and the way they used to report the bugs, or the way they used to communicate or talk to us, we used to have a long discussions that helped us improve a lot. And I think because we were very close to users, very close to community, we were improving very fast. So that is something which I really don't want to change, even in future. But yeah, I'm pretty glad that Peerless got such a good and such a supportive community.
Right. And also, when you raise fundings, you also have a responsibility towards your investor.
Yeah.
So, how does an investor get their exit from peer list?
Okay, I think this is a question which even I don't know much answers of, because honestly, we always discuss this internally. We do have this saying, or this thought process, that we have a roadmap of 5 years, but we plan for next 3 months. And I think next 3 months is not something where we are seeing our investors to exit. So, so I'll keep that question just floating there. That okay, let's figure it out in a journey.
See, most of my audience is college folks who
Mm-hmm.
are either startup enthusiasts or want to build something of their own.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you decide that your product is at a stage where you need to raise funding? And
Mm-hmm.
moreover, how do you go about doing that? How do you reach investors?
I would say don't reach an investor with, for getting the investment. So
Okay.
suppose if I need your help, I will come to you, I will discuss things with you, and then if things are good between us, then I would ask for the investment, right? So what really worked out for us is we always went to the investors, or to all the angels that we have, and we always were that we are stuck at this problem, or this is something which is we don't know how to solve. So can you help us figure this out? Can you help us in this way? And I think those conversations lead to some deep talks under what Peerlist is, what is the domain about, what are the things and how they are, our passion towards it, our understanding towards it, and then ultimately we started the discussion, because that is where even we started getting that yes, this is a good fit. So most of the time, it should work both ways, right? An investor should add a value to you, and you should be adding value to them. So once that you think that yes, this is working well, then go ahead and talk. But I think keeping that first thing in your mind, that I want to get investment from this person, is something which I personally don't get it, or I have never done it yet.
Right. I get your point. Also, that you have on board Sumit Shah from Dukan, Dharmesh from HubSpot. So that is a
Mhm.
very elite and interesting group of
Mhm.
investors.
Yeah.
So what have you learned from them so far?
So many things. So I think the first thing which I have learned throughout this journey, and even from Dharmesh or even from Sumit, is you don't go behind perfection. You first go test the waters, check if the things are working. So they always say that don't scaling early is a problem, right? So don't think of a scale at a very early stage. First validate things, and if it goes well, then only go ahead and do it or scale it. So I have learned those things, and even like so many small things which I even cannot right now tell you in pointers. But yeah, overall the discussions of building a company, or how culture matters, how engineering practices should be, or how you can think about a product, how you can think about its positioning. I think those are some really amazing points. Or the clarity, how much clarity you should have in your decisions. So these are the points that we learn from them, even without us like directly asking those questions, but somewhere from their discussions.
Interesting. Also, now let's compare your journey while working
Mm-hmm.
at a company and now building your own startup. Because
Mm-hmm.
startups, at least right now, seem very glamorous and everyone's running towards them.
Right.
But there's a different backstory to each startup, and startups are not easy.
Uh, I think I got the answers to all my questions which I used to have as in while working in somebody else's office. So I remember going to in my earlier organization. I remember going to my uh, project lead, who was also director at the company, and I used to talk to him that we need to fix this, we need to fix that, we have to do this, we have to do that. And I used to feel that okay, I don't know why things get a lot of time, why there are no actions taken. Now I get all the whys behind those things, behind those questions, right? Or I can understand that okay, what it takes to build a product. So I jokingly say always that if I would have known these things, that so you always feel right that building a startup is just building a product, working on a software and shipping it. Or at least as an engineer, as a developer, I had thought that.
Right.
But I think that is a 60% of a part, and 40% are completely different efforts that you put in. But overall it's a good journey to be the part of, because it's very much, there are so much of learnings that you get as even as a person, as an individual, and as a professional.
One thing that I've learned from your story so far is that no matter what company is there, how big a company is,
Mhm.
if you see something which can be done differently, then go ahead and try your product and see what it looks like. Because if you don't try, you won't know the end result.
That's true. So or maybe just so when we started, it was never that we want to be a LinkedIn competitor.
Hmm.
Right. As I said, that we thought that let's solve the profile problem first. Let's see. So I think let's see, or let's
Right.
figure it out, is a really good attitude to have while building or working on your product. So, and we have that from a very early stages. Even now, uh, while thinking of a feature or while bringing in new verticals, we think it that way that okay, let's do this, इतना करेंगे उसके बाद में let's see क्या होता है. So that attitude helps you a lot. And yes, if you see any problem, doesn't matter how small or how tiny it is, if you tries to solve that, you never know what it leads to or what it can give you back. So I think never miss that opportunity of solving a problem, doesn't matter how big the company is or how small the problem is.